What's going on? What's going on, friends and family? Thank you so much for watching Every Day is a Saturday. I'm your host, Brian Roof. All right. So, hey, guys, before we get started into today's episode, I want to talk a little bit about the show. I know some of you guys haven't had the opportunity to join me over on the Wacky Wednesdays. I do a Wacky Wednesdays over on YouTube, Facebook, and yeah, those two places I'm streaming live. You guys can catch those every Wednesday. And for the people that are just listening to me on the audio side, I'm gonna start releasing those I'll release the episode week prior, so that way you guys can listen to what happened the week prior. So I hope you guys like that. And then we're going to go ahead and get into my next guest. My next guest served his country proud in the United States Army for 8 years. He did 2 combat tours to Iraq and is now the vice president of a nonprofit organization called Wheels for Warriors USA, helping vets 2 wheels at a time. Let's meet our next hero, Jesse Cunningham.
Hey, how's it going?
What's up, Jesse? Welcome, bro.
Yeah, been looking forward to this, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, man. We've been looking forward to having you on as well. I've heard a lot about you through Scott, Jason, all the Nebraska guys. I mean, I feel like I'm making my rounds through Nebraska.
Oh, we got a lot going on here for sure.
That's
So
right, man. Yeah, and you're about to tell us a lot about some of it, and we heard a lot about it too through Hero Stock. But
yeah,
let's go ahead and get to know a little bit about Jesse, man. What made you not ready to be a Marine yet? And and just tell us a little bit about your Army career, and then what you got going on, man.
I come from just history military family. I chose the Army ultimately. I had family in every branch of the service, but went with the Army. Went in as an MP. Did 2 tours in Iraq. My first tour, I did 18 months in country in the Anbar province of Iraq, guarding Saddam and all the guys that were on trial with Saddam through all their court proceedings. Then I came home for 7 months. Wasn't really acclimating and liking the civilian life, and I volunteered and went back for another tour. And then I was at Camp Bucca, Iraq for another 12 months. Then I came home and eventually got out.
Wow, man. So where did you go to boot camp and all that stuff? Like, I mean, let's get a little
Oh,
bit more of the longer version of your military,
man, going way back.
Let's,
Fort Lost in the Wood, Fort Leonard, Missouri.
okay.
Yeah.
And what was your job and stuff on all that?
Just military police. My home unit was the 530th Military Police Battalion out of Omaha. They has since moved to Elkhorn, Nebraska. But I deployed. My first deployment was with a military unit from Joplin, Missouri. Went with them for my first deployment, and then with my home unit for my second deployment.
And where were you guys in Iraq again?
My first deployment, I was there the end of 05, all of 06, beginning of 07. And then I came home, was home for 7 months, deployed in January of 08, and came back January of 09.
Nice. So man, yeah. How was your experience though, man? Was it you love being in the Army, or were you glad? I mean, it seemed like you wanted to go back in. You didn't get enough, so
I did. I love the deployments. I love the atmosphere. I love, guys talk about the camaraderie and the brotherhood and all that kind of stuff. It's a very real thing. It's a lot easier to live over there than it is to live here. You don't have the responsibilities, you don't have the bills, you don't have all those types of things. So it's easy to get accustomed to living that lifestyle. So that was something that was a big draw for me for wanting to go back for my second tour. But, being in a military police unit, you do anything from cage kicking and, guarding detainees to working on a base, doing, tickets and that type of stuff to, basically mechanized infantry where you're out, doing everything else that everybody else does. You're out on the roads, fighting the fight. So I had the experience of doing pretty much everything but the law enforcement aspect of all of that. So
So, what made you end up wanting to get out ultimately since you went to, well, you wanted to go back and then just you that for that second four term, you were like,
I have a lot of my battle buddies who've done 3, 4, 5, 6 deployments.
yeah,
I I knew that being up for my reenlistment, that if I was gonna reenlist, that I was gonna stay in, from a full 20. And I knew that that meant 4, 5, 6 deployments, and I had young daughter at home, and me and my wife had one on the way. I simply asked my wife. I said, I'm up for reenlistment. I said, if I reenlist, I'm staying in, and she
yeah.
just simply said, please don't. And that was it. I that's all she had to say, and I just walked away. So
And I get it because I mean, deployments are rough. Not only uh are they rough, but especially when you got a family, kids
yeah,
and a wife, it's hard on the whole, circle.
my first deployment was drastically different from my second deployment, even though they were, just a short time apart. I was in different parts of the country, and knowing what I went through on my first deployment, and then us being together through my second deployment, that's hard on the family. That's a lot to put them through. It's easy to be selfish and say that I want to go back and do all the fun, exciting stuff, and you know go play war, and but you're leaving everybody else out to hang and dry. So it was a decision for everybody, not just myself.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, that's why the Marine Corps has a saying like, if they wanted you to have wife and kids, they would have issued them to you.
Right.
you know, I mean, it makes some kind of sense in a manner. I mean, I know guys that when we deployed, my one buddy, he had like babies. I mean, just little ones, and he was just going to miss out on that whole part of their life.
So
And
my
when they got home, the little ones didn't recognize them. At first, because back then we didn't have this whole FaceTime and the ability to see each other, or if unless you had a picture,
so
and
that's interesting that you say that, because my oldest daughter Olivia, when she was born, I was actually mobilizing from Fort Dix, New Jersey, and the first time that I ever saw her was a text message picture that was sent to a buddy of mine's phone. Um, I had already come home on like my leave and missed her birth and everything else, and wasn't going to be able to see her before I went to Iraq. Luckily, right before we finished our training, we finished quick enough. They gave us another 3-day pass, and I bought a plane ticket, flew home, held my daughter one time, and then flew back and flew to Iraq. When I came home on leave, she was 8.5 months old. Same thing, she didn't recognize me, she didn't know me, any of that. And then when I came home, she was 18 months old. So,
mm,
year and a half old, and trying to reintegrate into her life and everything else. And that was a rough time, and I think probably a big reason why I went back to Iraq, because I thought that if I went back to Iraq, there if I went back to Iraq, financially, you know, medically, everything would be taken care of. I wouldn't have to worry about nothing. That was, a big decision too. It's easier to go fight a war and pay paychecks than it is to stay home and care for your kid.
yeah, and I mean, just from when you're at home, there's just a lot of things that could go, especially when you got your home and you got your kids, and they're uh, especially babies, man. They
Mm.
they can't tell you what they want. They scream. They're hungry. They just need to be changed. Diapers. There's just a lot that comes with those little mouse, man.
Well, I,
That.
I left too. I was young, 21 at the time.
Yeah,
Left, go
yeah,
there. I was a kid, and I left essentially, a single, no kid, atmosphere, go fight in, a war atmosphere and experience all the things that come with that, and then come home and have a 18-month-old child to, try and relate to after you leave the battlefield. Like how do you do that? They teach you about that in, the military. So
Yeah, no, they don't, man. I mean, and I don't know how good. Like, so what was your time frame when you were in?
I was in from 2002 to 2010.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, bro. I mean, those time frames. I know because I got out 2004. But when I came home and stuff like that, they didn't tell us how to go live life afterwards, or that we were going to experience any kind of any kind of things from what we experienced. Like I didn't know I was going to have post traumatic, you know, distress, whatever, just PTSD and all that stuff until later on, and stuff started happening. I was like, oh shit. And then I started talking to other buddies who were going through a lot of the same things I was going through. And then, oh, that's called PTSD. Oh, no kidding. Nah, man, I don't got that shit. He's like, nah, bro. That
None of us have none of that. No.
right. We started playing that game for a while, especially when we're in our early 20s, dude. Well, there ain't nothing wrong with me. I'm broken,
Right.
like,
Well, that's
and
they did a real good job of teaching us how to like compartmentalize and like put it in a box and put it over here.
right. Yeah.
Mission, take care of what you got to take care of, and then handle that crap later. Well, you know, now it's 10 years later, and veterans are trying to unpack that stuff, and they're struggling.
Yeah. And like, these guys are going home to their babies screaming, and they were just in a area when they heard screaming, and it was a whole nother,
Yeah.
meaning to them, that scream, those babies, those loudness, those noises that the kids do. It's stuff that a lot of guys go home and they're not ready for all that stuff in their living rooms, or so that's why a lot of guys start heading out to the rooms, heading out to the garages,
Yep.
the backyards.
They put on a face, they pretend to be normal, and they do what they can to blend into their surroundings, and they just become very uncomfortable in their own surroundings, and that's where that, like, you know where they become, secluded, and pull back from being around people and stuff like that comes from.
Yeah, bro. And I mean, and I can only talk by experience. I live that life too. You know what I mean? Exactly
Yep.
what you said. And I family members, friends, buddies, that I grew up with, just started disconnecting a lot,
Yeah.
and only staying connected with some of the closest guys that I was served with, and like feeling like I could only trust them, and things of that nature.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. There's definitely that feeling, like when, I'll say, like for me, when I came home, I looked at society as a whole and was like, what is wrong with these people? These people are like selfish,
yeah,
greedy, they're
yeah,
all these things. And I'm like, people have no idea how good they have it. Like, and being in a country where, you see, children that, barely have clothes on, or, are begging for things and stuff like that. And it's like, you look around and you see all this want, and, just this commercialism and all this, stuff. And it's, that was for me the hardest part. Is I looked around and I just had a distaste for like how people lived, and I still carry a little bit of that. But it just makes me more appreciative for how I'm raising my family, the values that I'm instilling in my girls that I'm raising, and things like that. But yeah.
you really sound like you're talking about me. You know what I mean when you're saying a lot of this stuff, bro. Like,
uh, it's every veteran.
right,
We're we all come to the same realization at some point, or go through the same battles at some point, and we have our highs, we have our lows, and it's finding that common ground of, like, where are you really at in your relationship with how you're dealing with things yourself. And
accepting some things too. Yeah, like an acceptance. Accepting to, like, You're not always going to win, or there's going to be failure. You're going to have rough relationships. Uh, Stop wasting your calories and energy on other people that you can't control or have, any, like stop worrying about what others, because I like for you, man, I was like, gosh damn, these people are so fucking like, they're not happy. It's like they have no idea how great they have it. And
Mhm.
constantly seeing people like that and putting energy towards that, I'm just like, you know what, man, let them live their life.
Yeah.
But to complain about things that we complain about here, people have no clue unless you go to like a third, like a third world country
Yep.
where things are completely different, and they live life where having just a mat inside their dirt house, dude, or whatever is happy for them. You know what I mean? Just having this little square mat
Yeah.
amongst a mound of dirt, they're happy. But here, like I feel like people are swimming and it's just never can find their happiness. But stop trying to worry about all that in my life, because it's like we're not going to solve that problem.
That when you stop worrying about all that stuff too, that's when you start finding your happiness again. That's when you
Yeah,
start, that
it,
that place where you find yourself, comfortable around yourself, your family, your friends, all those things. You start
exactly.
on relationships instead of focusing on all the extra.
Yeah, exactly, bro. I mean, to me, I think, and because I've just recently kind of got there, dude. Like it's taken me some time, and I mean, I've become so many things. Like once your mind kind of gets in a better place, and you're in your like your mindset is just clear, dude, and you gotta like in this just clear area, you are now able to process things so much better, make better decisions, uh, find happiness, laugh at yourself, you
Yep.
know, uh, there's just so many things that come with just clearing that mind. And then when other things come, bro, I've noticed that I'm able to react better to them. Like even like my relationship with my wife has gotten better just by working on some of those things like that I've just had clogged up in my brain for so long. But getting into a better place and just talking to others, doing this podcast, it's really helped me. I think it's kind of like a therapy, dude. Like here we are talking about stuff.
Yeah.
And here I am opening up, talking about things. We're making ourselves vulnerable to everybody. We're talking to, like men. But these kind of things help, man. And then this is putting, my wife sees me walking around. She's like, I've seen a smile more on your face and stuff. Like, I find just more happiness in yourself and realizing that it's not others' responsibility to make you happy. Happiness is within yourself. If
Yep.
you're not happy, it's no one else's fault but yourself. You got to get there. You know what I mean?
I had something explained to me the other day. Well, it's been a little while back, but it was pretty profound, and it was something that when it was explained to me had such an effect on me. It took me weeks to put this into play into my life and to like think about it. But the way it was explained to me is, we all start out with, a shadow of ourselves. We have like an outline. Throughout our life, we have all these traumas, whether it's a childhood trauma, being teased, bullied in high school, some kind of abuse or, battery type event, or, war trauma, or whatever happens throughout your life. All of these traumas make a mark in your shadow self. And eventually that shadow self is filled in. It's just dark and gray or black with all of these traumas that we carry throughout our life. You can look at that shadow self as you're carrying these traumas, or you can look at that shadow self and become friends with it and say that because of all of these things, I am who I am today. And I thought about that and thought about all the traumas in my life. And I want to backtrack on that too, is when we have a trauma in our life, whether it's something that happens when we're a kid, teenager, adult, whatever, um, when we have something that is an effect in our life that is a trigger that is correlating to that event, we revert back in age to the age we were when that trauma happened. So veterans who are struggling with dealing with anger issues, they're reverting back to wartime issues and the trauma that they were having during war, and the anger and the adrenaline and the violence that they had to endure is, what they're now unleashing in their house, because they have a trigger, an event that brought them back to, that event in their life, and they're now bringing that out in their life at home. you know um and I started to think about all of these events in my life and all these different traumas, and how I react in anger, and how I view certain things. And it was a lot for me to unpack. It took a long time to wrap my head around that. And now I'm just now learning to become friends with my shadow self. And you're talking about, like, you know using some of these things as, like, I am who I am today because of these types of things. Look at all these veterans that are doing great things. They've had extremely traumatic experiences throughout their lives, and they're doing amazing things. It's learning how to deal with those traumas, accepting them, and being okay with not being okay.
Exactly. And I mean, the thing is that you could become an advocate for others when, because let's face it, man, we all go through stuff,
Yeah.
so it becomes that you can be a voice for another person when they see you talking about it. That could inspire someone else and say, man, this dude's talking about it. I got this going on. And it might just, what you said could trigger something in their life and make them think, man, this is something I got to deal with. So the more that we can get these kind of things out there and just talk about it, and have guys that are okay with just not being okay and saying, hey man, I was fucked up, because I was too, bro. And it created me to be a bad dad for my two older kids. And I've had to cross that bridge with them. I had to go accept that and own it and say, man, I messed up with you guys. And I totally know, this is why I messed up. And I try to give them more of a picture of why,
Yeah.
not just deal with it. This is who I am, you know. No, it wasn't, I know, bro. I wasn't a good dad to my two older ones,
I've
like
done
I
the same thing
gotta
with
own
my old.
that.
Yeah.
Yep. And now I'm able to have better relationships with them because of owning that stuff.
Yeah.
And just be in saying, yeah, I was a bad dad. You're right. And if you let's talk about what you want to talk about, and let's talk about it. If there's something that needs to be cleared up or you don't understand, let's talk about it. And it's been great, man. I mean, at least with my older daughter, our relationship has you know, she's now in college, but it's like we've totally transitioned to like having a good friendship, and where she just comes and talks to me about anything and everything and no judgment. Uh,
Yeah.
and
It
it's just great.
One of the things too with being a veteran who's experienced combat and trauma and things like that, and then trying to parent is, we it's very easy for us to tell our kids to do things because we tell our soldiers to do things, and when we say things, we expect that they are done and they're carried out and it's done as we said, because if not, there could be
Yeah.
conflict. And we're applying that same thing to our children. We expect children who do not have the capacity to understand the directions that we're giving them in the time that we're giving them, and then when they fail, we take out our frustration and anger on them because we are incapable of giving them proper direction. Versus, and how many times do you scream and yell at your kids and then go back and go, like, why did I do that? Because I'm the one who failed to fully explain that or be patient or whatever it was. And then you have a kid who breaks down, and you've lost that with your kid, that that connection, that that trust.
Bro, 100%. I mean, everything you said, you couldn't be more accurate in what you just said. Because I mean, it's crazy listening to you talk, dude. Because honestly, I mean, You just talked about my life, and I'm sure a lot of other people that can relate to.
I would say
Um,
9% of the veterans out there can say that I shared that story in some aspect.
yeah, because dude, I mean, 100%. I get it because you could ask my kids. I mean, there was times they were disciplined through pain because that's the Marine Corps way, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and or I snapped at them. They didn't act quick enough or whatever. In my eyes, it's like do or die. You know, if you don't act on what I tell you to do, you're gonna die. You know, so I started correlating that to everything that they did. You know, and not realizing, oh, you know what, these kids didn't go through 12 weeks of boot camp and 4 years of shit. You know what I mean? Like here I am trying to, you know, put them through a boot camp and expecting them to respond to it, you know. And not all kids can respond to that kind of stuff. And as a matter of fact, sometimes they start to shut down, bro, and you lose them, you
Yep.
know.
Yeah, and for me, my daughters, both of them are completely different. They have completely different personalities, and you think as a parent that how you parent your kids need to mold to how you are as a parent, and what you say goes, and those types of rules, and how we grew up as kids. But it's if you recognize that your kids are individuals and parent to them
Personalities. There's different
individual,
personalities. Yep.
if you parent to those kids individually, you will relieve so much stress out of your life, and yeah, you'll have a better connection.
It's not a cookie, you know, cutting situation for each kid, you know what I mean? It's just not. Um, it's been proven that each of us learn different ways. Some of us are visual, some of us are hearing, some of us got a touch, some of us need all of the above. You know what I
Yeah,
mean, or whatever. The same goes with your kids. Just because they come from the same parents doesn't mean they're going to be the exact same. Or you know, like my daughter, straight A student all the time. You know, son, you know, I can't say the same, but it's not like I had that same expectation for him because
yeah,
your sister's getting A's, you should be getting A's. You know, no. Now I'm going through it with my three stepsons. Um, well, one of them, he's autistic, but the other two, they are so, the one, he loves school, he loves math, he just, excels great, doesn't care for sports. Other dude, like sports. I hate school, love my friends. That's his thing. Two dudes raised by the same people, totally different guys. You know what I mean? And it just happens. And that's what people got to realize. You're not going to have three of the same. You're not even going to have two of the same, more than most likely. You're going to have some similarities and some likes and dislikes that they have. But to think that they're going to be able to go operate in the same fashion in every manner is unreasonable.
yep, yep,
But yeah, man, I mean, parenting is tough, and especially when you've experienced combat, you're young. I couldn't imagine that when you came home, bro. Like, cause I mean, I had my kids after after when I came back. I listened to the Marine Corps. I didn't go get married till after. Um, um, but you know, I couldn't imagine coming home right from the combat zone and then right into your living room trying to, be a parent and be a dad and disconnect from everything that you just experienced or all the for a duration of time too, man. I mean, this isn't like you were over there for 24 hours, you know. You spent a
I
lot
came
of time there and
yeah, I came home, and I think I did a really good job of box, a really good job of burying that box. We came home during a recession when there was no work. I was, you know, paying child support on, my kid, and was scrambling to find a job. I found a job at a feedlot for $8.50 an hour, and my entire paycheck went to paying my child support every month and putting gas in my car to get to work. So, I I think at that time I was in a place of like, I have to bury this and focus on taking care of this right now.
Survival mode. You were in survival mode here right at home, man. Right off
Yeah.
rip, dude. Child support ain't no joke. Trying to get a job ain't no joke. I mean, especially when
Yep.
you're in a recession,
Yep.
and not all jobs, a lot of people like think, oh, well, when you're in the military, you should be easy to get a job when you get out.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, man. I mean, some of the stuff that you did in the military has zero experience for the job that you might be applying for,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and they're
Yeah.
looking for 1 to 2 years experience.
Yeah, I was a military police officer. I thought, 100% I was going to come out, get into law enforcement and, of some sort. And I came home and was applying those routes and had a job offer with Federal Protective Service and CBP, and went the Federal Protective Service route for a few years. And that eventually led into, working for immigration and stuff now. But it's, I think back to all those years of kind of climbing that ladder, that career ladder, because you have a late start in life. Everybody you went to high school with is graduated college and is starting their careers, and you just got back from a war, and you're like, okay, now what do I do? And I really put my nose to the grind, and I think I kept that box buried and focused on living life, and living the family life, and the grind of getting a bigger, better job, and climbing your way up the ladder and those types of things. And then along the way, that box was like leaking out, like toxic. It was problems with relationships, problems with family, marriage, kids, your job, all these types of things. And all of a sudden you find yourself like you've been grinding for all these years and trying to, get to a certain point in your life. And you're like, I am absolutely miserable and unhappy and dealing with all of these emotions. And I have no idea what's wrong with me. And it's because you put this box away and never dealt with it. And you now have to figure out where all of this went wrong over the years. And that was essentially my life. That's what I did. And I heard a lot of people along the way, and I had to go back and fix a lot of relationships. And now that I was willing to do that and being on the other side of that fight, life's good.
Yeah, man. I couldn't relate much more than that, dude. Same here. I wish that I would have dealt with a lot of things a lot sooner. I would have saved a lot more relationships, and not have to go back and accept and admit a lot of wrongdoings. If I had probably made myself healthier back then, and that way, like, because when you're got so much going on, man, you're not giving everybody the best version of yourself, dude. You know what I mean? And that was me for a long time. And I just put it off on everybody else too, just like fuck them. Everybody's got fucking problems and da 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 da. Maybe it's me. You know what I mean? And sometimes you got to just sit there and say, "Gosh, damn," swallow a bullet and say, "All right, now it's time to go mend the fences, or try to rebuild some of the bridges. Some of them you maybe don't want to. Some of them maybe are worth, because when you get to that clear state of mind, dude, you can start seeing the ones that were worth it and the ones that weren't worth it, anyways, and that you wasted your time on, or that put you down a fucking path that you shouldn't have gone. You
Yep.
know,
Yeah, and I will say the ones who are still with you through thick and thin, those are the ones that are your inner circle.
ride or dies. Yep.
Those, those are the ones. And I say put all of your focus into those relationships. Focus on them more than anything, because those are the people who stuck by you. And
Yep.
that's definitely where I'm at in my life and my relationships. I have a lot of people who are friends and acquaintances, and then I have a very select few who are that inner circle type group of friends. But it has made me happy. It has made my life, my wife, and my family happy. And I'm not wasting all of my energy on all of these other resources that, are not important or have, a lasting effect in my life and my relationships.
100%. Exactly. And same here, man. I feel way happier in life. Uh, when you clear your mind, man, it's relieving. And when you start up living for others and stop worrying about what everybody else thinks, cares about what you're doing or how you're doing it, man, it's liberating. It is just, it's like could do a lot more now without all this weight on me, you know.
Yeah.
So, well, let's go ahead and switch it up a little bit, man, and get into something I'm sure near and dear to your heart, and something that's also really helping the veteran community. Let's talk about Wheels for Warrior USA. I guess you're helping vets 2 wheels at a time.
That is our nonprofit. We are a 501c3 veteran nonprofit. We are a 100% nonprofit. All money raised or donations go towards our programs, our motorcycles. But essentially, we give 100% free motorcycles to veterans as part of a mentorship program, where we provide camaraderie, support, and a sense of service to a veteran through a partnership with the veteran organization where they sponsor our veteran for a year. We provide the motorcycle, we pay the tax, title, licensing, and insurance for a year, a maintenance plan for the motorcycle for a year, all the riding equipment for a year, gas for a year. And if they need a motorcycle endorsement, we'll put them through the training academies or riding academies so they get their motorcycle endorsement to just throw a leg over and ride and enjoy wind therapy.
Wow.
The mentorship program portion of what we do is we partner with veteran organizations all across the United States, whether it's the Combat Vets Motorcycle Association, VFW, any veteran organization that's out there that wants to sponsor a veteran. They sponsor a veteran for a year. They get them involved in veteran-related activities. If they're doing, community things, if they're doing events, fundraisers, those types of things, if they're, just having gatherings, get-togethers, things for veterans, getting them involved and just getting them back involved with veterans and getting them back in the circle with a like-minded people who know and understand what veterans go through. The resolve to a lot of veterans problems is not sitting around a circle and talking about how they feel. It's about being around other veterans who know and understand. And if you're having a bad day and you're dealing with stuff and don't want to talk about it, just being in a safe place with veterans who know that you're going through some stuff and they're just there to be with you and lift you up and provide that camaraderie and support that we got in combat, what we got overseas, what we saw when we were suffering and going through things overseas. That's what our veterans need.
Man, that's awesome, bro. Let's go through some pictures that I got, and then we'll talk a little bit more about it. Let's kind of talk about some of these
So this is my good buddy Chris Kale. He's a bass player for a band a lot of people probably know, Bad Wolves. He's been a supporter of Wheels Warriors USA for a few years now. Absolutely amazing guy. This picture was taken last year at Sturgis at the Buffalo Chip. We were the charity of choice for the Buffalo Chip last year, and this is a bike that was built by Derek and his crew at Exotic Customs out of Lincoln, Nebraska. This is a bobber that all the gold that you see on this bike is plated 24 karat gold. Every
wow.
nut, washer, everything you see that's gold is actual 24 karat gold on that bike. And we raffled it off on stage last year in front of 70,000 people, and it was awesome. So
Wow,
yeah,
that is a beauty.
when
Goodness.
Bad Wolves played at the Buffalo Chip, uh, he came up and hang out with us at our booth for a little bit. And then, of course, we went and saw him for his concert and all that. And then I got to go up every night and pitch Wheels for Warriors in front of, 70,000 people every night. And the night that they played, he actually came up on stage with me and was throwing out T-shirts and stuff on stage. So I got to say, I got to hang out with, Kyle Conkle from Bad Wolves and promote Wheels for Warriors on stage in front of 70,000 people. Man, it was awesome. So
let's talk about that too, real quick, about talking in front of a lot of people, man. Are you good at doing that? Or you gotten good at doing it? Or it's you want to throw up right before? What's up?
Honestly, it has zero effect on me. I've done a lot of these events and public speaking type stuff for years, but that was in front of that many people was definitely like a unique experience. They got 40-foot speaker towers on both sides,
Yeah, you can hear yourself talking, huh?
70,000 people in front of you, and you go to talk in the microphone and you can't hear your own voice.
Oh yeah,
deafening, and you can't, and the very first night I did like a mic check. I like looked around and was like, and they're like, no, it's on. Talking, and then after that I was just rolling. But in front of that many people, it's not like you're talking or giving a presentation to like 5 people, where their sole focus is on you.
Right, yeah.
70,000 people, how many are paying attention? I'm just talking to one big crowd.
They're
It's
like,
just,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So it doesn't bother me at all.
Nice. All right, let's check out some more pictures.
This is a bike that we gave away last year in Ohio with the Combat Vets Motorcycle Association. It was built for us by somebody who's built motorcycles for us in Ohio for last like 3 years. I want to double check that. I think this is the 3rd bike that he's done for us. So, yeah. So this is just the type of bike that we give. It's a cruiser style motorcycle, 700 cc's or bigger type motorcycle. But every bike that we do, we go through these bikes and make them brand new front to back. Make sure that they have a service plan for a year. Like I said, that if anything goes wrong in that first year, we take care of anything, whether it's a tire, turn signal, any issue that they may have. If they need, floorboards or handlebars changed or a different seat or whatever they need to make the bike comfortable for them, we swap things out, make it right for them. Yeah, you can see here, beautiful, beautiful bike.
Man, absolutely. Let's check out another one.
Yeah, this is our raffle bike. This is actually in Beach. This is on the boardwalk for a lot of the motorcycle magazines. They're doing their bike show out on the boardwalk and taking pictures. So we were out there competing with some of the world's best out there. We actually placed in every show we placed that bike in. We had it in 5 shows and placed in all 5 shows.
Man, she's a beauty. Let's see. All right.
So this bike right here, I'm glad that you put this picture in here because this is actually a bike that was donated to us at Daytona Bike Week. We were set Exotic Customs. Our booths were side by side, and a gentleman who has known Exotic Customs for a couple years, he learned about our program and everything that we had going on, and he had an extra motorcycle there with him. He was from Michigan. He brought it so his nephew could ride. And at the end of the week, instead of packing up his extra motorcycle and bringing it home, he put it in the back of our truck and said, give it to a veteran.
Man,
so
that's awesome. Wow.
We talk about the bikes that we give to veterans. These bikes, we get them whether we fundraise, $20,000-$30,000 to go out and purchase a motorcycle for a veteran, or a motorcycle is given to us and we rebuild it and make it brand new again. No matter, how we go about it, these bikes are brand new once we can give them to a veteran. But the unique part of what we're doing comes from some of the stories that we get from getting some of these motorcycles. We had a gentleman call us from California that said he had a bike that he wanted to give to us, and we were pretty hard up for bikes at the time, and it was going to cost us more in gas money than what the bike was probably worth to go and get, but we needed a bike. So Craig Tupin, our president, loaded up, went out, drove out to California and picked up the bike. And when he got there, the gentleman that was donating the bike was a veteran who had a pretty severe traumatic brain injury, and was losing his ability to care for himself. And one of the last things he wanted to do was donate that motorcycle to a veteran. And he had heard about our Wheels for Warriors USA program and wanted it to go to a veteran. And Craig, our president, said the entire time he was driving out there, he's like, why am I wasting the time and the gas to drive out there? We could just buy one, just like it 10 minutes up the street, and he still went out and got it. And then when he went out and got it, he knew that that was the reason that he had to go out and get that bike. And we have so many more stories like that, people have heard about us and called us up and gave us a bike. Or, we had a husband and wife donate their son's motorcycle who was unfortunately killed in Afghanistan. Donated his motorcycle, and it's it's a very unique thing that we have going on, and it's it's just a pretty incredible program, whether it's the people who are donating for whatever reason, whether they're donating $20 or they're donating a motorcycle, or they're donating their time to come and support at our events and things like that because they believe in what we're doing. It's it's an amazing program. And I told Craig, if it's one bike a year or 50 bikes a year, I'm in it for the long haul.
Man, that's awesome. So kind of take us through the process. So if there, how do you guys go get the veterans for these bikes?
So when we first started, the whole idea of Wheels for Warriors USA started with the Combat Vets Motorcycle Association out of Nevada, reaching out to Craig Tupin, our president, and asking him for help finding a motorcycle to give to a veteran. Craig Tupin at the time was the international president for Victory Motorcycle Riding Group and had a lot of connections to bikes and people who could possibly donate. And he made 2 phone calls and somebody gave him a motorcycle to give to a veteran. So they gave that bike away that year, and it was an amazing event. And they said, this is awesome. We should do this again next year and do this as like an annual event. They did it the second year. The third year was actually when I hosted the event. At the time, I was the Combat Vets Motorcycle Association president in Nebraska or chapter commander in Nebraska, and I hosted the event. I had like 13 veteran organizations and a flag line, and I did all these different things, and just made it a really nice event. And then after the event, Craig asked me to come on to Wheels for Warriors because they were going to start it as a national nonprofit, and he wanted me to be his event guy. Here I am. I'm the event the vice president of Wheels for Warriors USA. But going back to the motorcycles and stuff, whether we're purchasing them brand new from a dealership or somebody donates them to us, we've driven all across the United States to pick up these bikes to bring them back here, make them brand new, and give them to a veteran.
Wow, that's awesome, man. So do you know exactly how many you guys have given away to date?
Since 2016, we have given away 37 motorcycles so far. And we have 5 that we're doing.
So do you guys have like a certain amount a year? Do you guys have goals? Like how do you guys go about that? Is it just year to year and you see how it goes?
We have said if we have the bike and we have the veteran, we'll make it happen. And that's been pretty fluid over the years. We've done up to 12 programs in 1 year. And that was getting to be a lot.
Yeah, I
We,
imagine.
when we first started doing this, we had an application process where we said, hey, fill out this application, and like within the first like week, we had like 1,200 applications, and we're like, yeah, this is not going to work. This is, everybody was like, hey, how do I get a free bike? And we're like, this is not how this is going to go. So uh, we started reaching out to veteran organizations and saying, hey, do you know of a veteran who would benefit from this? That grew into our mentorship program, and actually having these veteran organizations take an interest in our veterans and spend time with our veterans and getting them involved and checking on them, and ensuring that, they're not, put up in the house, or, out doing things they shouldn't be doing, and, just keeping them on the right track and things like that.
Right.
And here we are, 37 bikes later, we're cooking and rolling. We're recently just in, as a board, we have 6 board members that do this all over the United States. And we're stretched really thin. So we've talked about dialing it back to, 5, 6, 7 presentations. That's, doing out of state presentations, but, there's talks now of, Wheels for Warriors and Hero Stock becoming full-time entities and going on the road together. And at every single Hero Stock event, we do a Wheels for Warriors USA bike presentation. So, if Jason and, I'm also on the board for Hero Stock, if we are doing a, 6, 7, 8, concert series event across the United States, and Wheels for Warriors is already giving away 5, 6, 7, 8 bikes, around the United States, we might as well give them away at the best veteran party there is.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah, man. I'm gonna be there
Dude,
September 9th, dude. I'm flying out to good old Nebraska.
you're going in for a good time, man. We're gonna have some fun.
Oh yeah, bro. I'm gonna bring a good time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if Nebraska's ready for me. We'll find out.
Well, I don't know if Jason made mention, but the Bravo Zulu guys took me out skydiving the other day. So if you're in Nebraska and want to check out Bravo Zulu guys, you might have to line some stuff up like that.
Dang, dude, you went and did that, huh? How was that, bro? How was that experience?
That was that was awesome. That was kind of a bucket list thing that I waited for a long time. I actually I'll bring this up because every good military story has a girl in it at some point. But
Right.
I came home on leave from my first deployment, and the girl that I was dating at the time, she took us skydiving. And when we got to the place, we went through the whole training thing and the videos and the all the filling out the paperwork and all that stuff. And then like a little storm had rolled in, and they said that they had to put off jumping. And well, then a big storm rolled in, and I just never got to do it. So fast forward like 20 odd years later or whatever, and yeah, they called up Jason. I'm dying Jason out. They called up Jason and asked Jason if Jason said, absolutely not, but I know the guy who will. And they called me, and I said, yep, I'll see you there.
Yeah, us Marine guys like to keep our freaking feet on the ground, bro. Leave the army to jump and fly out of the planes.
Oh, it was awesome.
It was a good time though.
Oh yeah, it was good.
How far up is it, man? Like how far you guys go?
We jumped from it was 32,000 feet.
Yeah.
So yeah, they said they or what? No, it was let me take that back. 10,000. It was 13,000 feet. 13,000 feet.
Okay. Okay.
They usually jump. I think
Does that go by pretty fast?
they jumped from 10,000, and we got to go up a little bit higher because we had a bigger plane. But
Nice. So how long does it take when you leave the plane to touch the ground? Pretty quick, or is it
it only seemed like it was like, I don't know, maybe like 5, 6, 8 minutes, something like that. Like you get, I don't know. The free fall was awesome. We did all sorts of stuff during the free fall, different tricks and turns and stuff. The canopy portion of it, we were actually up in the air a lot longer than everybody else because the guy that I was tandem with, he went through all of the tricks. He did like the G-force spins where you do like the flat spins.
Oh, sheesh, bro.
Both,
Nah, man.
uh, he did
You're tapping that fool out like, nah, bro. Like, nah.
well, he did both of those, and then he did a like a stall thing where he like hovered in like space. It was really weird. And then he did like a free fall thing where he folded in the canopy and we dropped like 40 feet. He did a
Oh,
like backflip where he did like a kind of an over the shoulder backflip thing. So at the end of that, he asked me, he goes, "How's your head doing?" And I was like, "It's not my head that's the problem, it's my stomach. So we're gonna have to like tone it down a notch." So,
yeah, bro. I don't know. Yeah, I think I would be done. My equilibrium.
I I was
Wow,
I
man.
was right back up, man. I loved it.
Yeah, damn, dude. You got to be one hell of an adrenaline junkie for that shit.
Well, I called my wife on the way out there and I said, this is going to be either the greatest thing I did that one time, or I'm going to have to be like ordering my own stuff and like jumping all the time. And she said, it's probably going to be the later. And she was right.
So you've totally taken a liking to it, huh?
Oh, I could do it. I could definitely do it.
You can do it more.
Like
Yeah,
9 grand, you could have all your own gear.
yeah. I don't know, man. Rather have a. I don't know. That's it's an area I don't know. I would probably knock the fuck out if that dude tried to do any of those spins, upside downs, or anything. I'd probably be that guy out or throwing up all over him. Like, bro, sorry.
I will say there was one part. So like never having done the tandem thing, before, and these are all like military jump guys,
Yeah,
So instruction was pretty much like, here, put the harness on.
yeah, yeah.
when we did jump and stuff, once he pulled the canopy and stuff, there's a part where they disconnect part of the harness and it kind of like loosens up the harness. Well, you drop about 4 inches, and I didn't know that he was going to do that. That 4 inches might as well been 250 feet because I left some in my drawers. I told him, I was like, I was not expecting that.
Nah, man. Nah, yeah. I would feel like we're having a malfunction immediately. Like, God, wow.
Nah, it was pretty cool, man. He let me steer the canopy and do the flat spins and all that kind of stuff, and yeah, it was pretty cool.
That is cool, man. So we'll get back to Wheels for Warrior now. So let's talk a little bit more about that now. You guys are you're gonna be there at Hero Stock, huh? And
We are.
you guys got a booth there?
We got a booth, and we're gonna do a bike presentation. So you will actually be there for a bike presentation.
I'm
Uh,
excited to see that.
yeah, the bike that's being built for that one is being built by Southeast Community College. They have a power sports program that they've done a couple bikes for us over the years. That we provide the bike to the school. The school uses it as a project. They teach the students on it, anything from changing tires to changing the oil to motor repair, tearing it apart, putting it back together, all that kind of stuff. And then for the culmination of their project, they put the bike all back together. They make it cool. Southeast Community College, their paint program puts a nice paint job on the bike, and they make it nice, and then we present it to a veteran. So that'll be excuse me, that'll be the bike for Hero Stock.
Man, that's gonna be cool. I can't wait to see that whole presentation. Now, do you guys just basically take the donation, like a bike that's donated, you rebuild it? Is there any bikes you guys have done, straight up from you designed it and all that stuff, or is it all bikes that are rebuilt?
Um, all the bikes have come from some kind of platform. We've done a couple raffle bikes that we raffled off that were complete, one-off builds. But for the bikes that we give to veterans, there's requirements as far as we want them to be safe, suitable, all those types of things. But we use an existing platform, and then there are we did a trike for a female veteran last year in San Antonio that Frankenstein trikes. They put a trike kit on the back of the bike for us and adapted a way for her to haul her wheelchair with her when she's on the trike to the
Oh,
motorcycle.
badass.
We made those modifications for the bike and stuff. So, we do things like that as needed. But, just using an existing platform that, we can take and make cool. That's usually the best way.
That's awesome. That is awesome. And now, is this one shop that you guys do this out of in Nebraska, or is it you guys have multiple areas, or is there chapters of this? Or how does that all work, or is it just
So
Nebraska based?
Wheels for Warriors USA is based out of Lincoln, Nebraska. The 6 board members that exist are all from Lincoln, Nebraska. However, we do these all over the United States. We've done them from coast to coast. And, yeah. So the bike programs themselves, they come via veteran organizations, veterans reaching out to us, saying like, hey, I heard about your program. That's a little bit harder route because then we have to try and find veteran organizations in their area that would, do the sponsorship portion of it. It's a lot easier when we have a group reach out to us and say, hey, we have a veteran in mind, and going that route. But we've done it both ways. But yeah.
Now, typically, you wait to have the bike before the veteran, or do you guys have like a waiting list of veterans already kind of accumulated?
Both. Our Generally we have at least a few bikes on hand, trying to stay ahead of the curve. That's really hard to do because we have 0 sponsors. We don't have Harley Davidson or Indian or any of these places saying, hey, here's a couple extra bikes or whatever. We fundraise to get these bikes, or it's just the generosity that somebody gives to make brand new again. But yeah, however,
Yeah. So now with that though, like, have you guys tried to go out to Harley and all those guys, or like is that just something you guys don't really seek for it?
w- yes and no. It's one of those things. I hate to say it in the corporate world of, what do we get out of it? What's in it
Nah,
for,
right. Yeah.
and it's it's even to find a dealership that says, we'll give you our bikes that we're going to put in an auction. A lot of these dealerships take bikes in on trade that they never sell them or
Right.
whatever, that they just send them to an auction that gets shipped off somewhere. They get, they get dollars out of it. Let us purchase those bikes. Let us get a
Yeah.
discount.
Like a retail price or so. Yeah. Like a very cheap,
I'm not trying to get
wholesale.
2024 lineup, to
Yeah.
give to veterans, but it would be nice if we had, God, there's how many dealerships of motorcycles across the United States? If, one dealership could say, hey, we could give you your, 5 or 6 bikes for the year, that'd be incredible. But, it doesn't
Now,
happen.
couldn't they do it? Can they do it as like a tax write-off type of deal, or is that not able to do?
You would think, but that's not my business,
It's
and
a
that's
great
not my,
yeah, right.
you know what
Yeah.
I mean?
It's a great opportunity to kind of make, and say, uh, and I mean, here I am. I know I'm pitching for the veteran community, but I mean, what better way to say like, hey, we're helping out in the veteran community, Harley David, because what do you think a lot of veterans probably drive, man? I mean, or ride around on. I mean, a lot of them probably do have Harleys or something to that nature. So
Well,
it, a big part of their customer base is probably veterans. I'm not
I,
going to say a lot, but
I'm hoping at some point, I'll put it this way: Wheels for Warriors USA, we've given away 37 motorcycles. We're not going anywhere. we're going to be at 50 next year. We're
That's
presenting
beautiful.
this year with the Nebraska Cornhuskers football team on Veterans Day on the 50-yard line. The bike was purchased by a veteran motorcycle shop. The bike was painted by a veteran airbrush artist, and we're giving it to a veteran on Veterans Day during the Veterans Day game. So,
And everybody go to the Facebook page, go check out those pictures. I've seen them. It is turning out amazing.
oh,
It's going to be a badass.
but what I'm hoping is we're not going anywhere, and Jason and what we're doing with Hero Stock, that's not going anywhere, and we're now teaming up. So at some point in time, these places are going to take notice. They're going to see that there's this Hero Stock concert series taking over the nation, and this Wheels for Warriors USA group giving away a motorcycle at every event. Like, yeah, people are going to take notice, and then you know
Oh
what?
yeah.
It's going to be hopefully a decision where, we do start to get sponsorships and we do get the right people because, just at the
And
time
maybe,
that,
and maybe you guys are in a position you might be turning some away, man. Like,
well, what I was
sorry
going to
you
say,
weren't want to be a part of it. We're begging and pleading, you know.
yep. And I'll say this, and in this business of doing veteran nonprofit stuff, we've already ran across our fair share of individuals who try to take advantage of what you have going on and those types of things. And, for us, it's not about the big relationships and the big money.
Yeah.
Um, you know, we've given away 37 motorcycles on our own, and there's 6 of us. We managed to get this job done. Would help be appreciated? Absolutely. But the help has to come from the right people who want to be on our team with what we're doing. And, it's a family 501c3. We, all of us who are on this board are like family, and we are 100% nonprofit. Nobody gets paid for doing this, and it's just something that we have a passion for.
So it's not the big corporations out there giving out stuff away. It's a nonprofit 501c3 in Lincoln, Nebraska out there doing this. I mean,
Yep.
man, it's amazing, bro. I mean, what you guys are doing, you guys, and I promise you, those 37 people are absolutely. I'm sure they're elated, and that's why I'm excited to be there to watch someone inherit that and get that feeling of, oh shit. And when, I hope we get to watch them sit on it. Is it going to be there, or is it just,
Well, you say
or did
30.
they get, or did they get it?
Oh,
You like, is it
oh
there
no,
in person?
we'll do a whole presentation at the event. So yeah, we'll
Oh
fire.
hell yeah.
So
Uh-huh. So
yeah,
we get to see him sit down and boom, boom, or him
oh,
or her.
yep,
Yeah,
yep,
nice. That's outstanding, man.
yeah.
That's great. And what that does for them and their families as well, because you're giving them an out to go blow off some steam. That helps not only the individual, that helps the family too. You know what I mean?
It does. It does. I was for that too. I said, you said something about it being, 37 veterans now. That's also 37 organizations that we have partnered with all across the United States. So
That's beautiful.
we do a presentation in a new state, we're setting up a foundation of, people all across the United States who know about our program and what we're doing. We want to get, recipients from every state. We haven't got all 50 states yet. So, it'd be nice to have a recipient from every state and do a Hero Stock Wheels for Warriors presentation in every state, and, just circle the United States doing this.
Man, that is awesome. And I I could see this thing. I mean, people love motorcycles. I know, especially veterans. A lot of veterans out there. Um, th- you guys out there in Nebraska, I tell you what, you guys are doing some really good things, man. You got Scott Frenberg, you got Jason Steiner, you got Jesse, you got all you guys are out there, man. And the great thing is you guys are all teaming up. You guys are coming from different things, but you guys are able to rep each other And so you guys are building Nebraska really strong and giving everybody else a nice little footprint to look at. I mean, there's a lot of services out there. Deuce Outfitters, forget to talk about Chris Kniss and the Deuce Outfitters. There's just you guys out there in Nebraska have a lot of great things for veterans out there. So
I'm
if you're
glad
out
you
there in Nebraska, make sure you guys are taking chances of it, man. I mean, not taking chances, taking advantage of what is offered out there
absolutely.
because there's something for everybody.
I'm glad you brought up Scott. I was actually deployed with Scott on my second deployment.
Yeah, I did mean to mention that too. I did hear that you guys served together, so that is awesome.
Yeah,
That's
he's on with Ruck It Up for Warriors. That's his whole deal. And he hit the ground running with that too. So I'm proud of that guy.
yeah, he really has, and he's you can see his followers and everything else, and like just things are building up for him, and because you guys, man, you guys are putting yourself out there, and that's what you got to do.
Yep.
Because ain't no one gonna see it or hear about it unless you guys are out there talking about it, making yourself available to everybody. And
The
that's what's awesome with you guys. You guys are very, very available to talk about it, and you guys are, man, the very passionate. This is a selfless thing. You guys aren't out there making millions. You guys got families, but you guys are putting a lot of time, effort, and marrying and damn near marrying yourself to what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, I hate to say it, there's a lot of, VFWs and Legion clubs and stuff that are shrinking and closing their doors and stuff like that. And the days of, sitting around and having a beer with the guys at the Legion club or whatever, um, it, it's just not the same as it was, back for, our grandparents and parents and stuff like that. You see a lot more organizations like Wheels Forwarders USA, Hero Stock, Ruck It Up for Warriors, all these different organizations, starting doing different things. You have hunting, you have fishing, you have, a concert series, you have a motorcycle group, you have all these different things. And it's because
jumping out of the helicopter group. I mean, just yeah, there's just so many different communities now. It's beautiful.
Yep.
It's I mean, and that's the great thing. I forgot who I was just talking to, and they said there was a skateboard one for people veterans that love to skateboard. I'm like, dang, that's crazy, man. But that's amazing.
I don't know any veterans that got the knees for that.
Yeah, I know I couldn't. Don't go ask me to do a ollie or some, kick flip or something now. No way, man. Or one fall for me would be a long recovery. I'm not as resilient.
No.
uh, but yeah, man. I mean, that's the great thing that we got going on, and that's what I love about these podcasts too. Is we're able to connect and we're able to get some of this out there for everybody to hear, see, know about these things that are available to them. Because a lot of people, they start losing that. We serve together and we're all in a tight little group, and
Yep.
then when your time's over, you go back home,
Yep.
and some of that's really far away from everybody you were with, that you grew a connection with, and you feel disconnected from everything. But there's now that we have technology, we have all these things, there's other ways that we can connect. It may not be sometimes right here, together, but we can connect these ways. I opened up a Wacky Wednesdays to kind of have a hangout place, just some, to feel that laughter and that break away for an hour for everybody to come hang out, laugh, have a good time, but feel that, like we're, a group again, man, and able to kind of just be yourself and laugh and not feel like everybody's like, oh man, But yeah, man, I'm
No,
really what's that?
no, I'm definitely taking notes from Jason jumping on all these podcasts, man. He's
Oh,
a podcast game, like just all over the place. And
so I set a number for him. I said by hero stock you got to hit 25. I think he's already at like 22 or 23,
oh,
and he's done. He's gonna surpass that, bro. I was like,
oh
yeah, we're gonna probably have to set it at 50 now.
yeah.
But dude, yeah, you should definitely. And I got a couple friends that would probably love to have you on as well. So you want to
Oh,
keep on spreading the word, dude. We'll just keep we have a community of podcasts. And I know that you've been on Donald Dunn's. That's
Yep.
actually, I watched you on his. I'm not sure if you made the Contagion Effect one.
Yep.
I'm not sure if you made them yet. Yeah. Okay. Shadow Mark,
No, not yet.
Derek and TJ.
Nope.
So Derek's in Nebraska, and but yeah, you gotta meet up with Derek Thompson and TJ off the
Cool.
Shadow Mark. They're a fun group of dudes. But yeah, you gotta go on some of their shows, and it's everybody's got their own different people that watch their stuff, and every different show you talk about something different, so a lot of people are like, oh, we've seen Steiner on all these different shows. Well, I probably get a little bit of different something out of Jason each and every time, I'm sure.
Well, it's just the fact that it's getting the conversation started.
Yep.
And there's so much of the conversation that, like, learning about Wheels for Warriors, Hero Stock, whatever it may be, learning about all these different things, like, who's going to hear it, but the people on your podcast, and they're gonna be like, hey, what is this about? Then, when you see it on TV and you're like, oh, hey, I saw that on that podcast. And it's like, you spread the information so quickly, and that's why I said I'm taking notes from Jason. Cause I'm like, man, just in the short time that, he's been hitting the, we'll call it the information wave of getting, the Hero Stock name out there, man, that dude has been killing it. So I'm proud of that guy.
Yeah, his growth is amazing. It's super amazing. And uh he's committed. He's absolutely committed. And you know what? With Jason, he shows up to everybody's stuff, man. He supports everybody. And
Yeah.
that's why everybody's so eager to support him, because he does what he can. And I'm like, I text him all the time. Me and him, we've become really good buds, and so we text all the time. And I'm like, I'm getting ready to need some. I'm gonna need some interviews here soon, and blah 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 blah. I couldn't even keep up with the contacts, bro. I was like, but that's the kind of guy he is, man. You know what I mean? And on Wacky Wednesdays, I'm like, dude, I could use like a co-host or something, to kind of help me, get, because it used to be more of a hangout, but now that I got part of the military broadcast radio, I was like, man, I need to make it more into kind of a show, So I brought him on, and he's always willing to help. And anytime there's a no show on someone's show, man, like he went on and he was a co-host on Shadow Mark. He was on there with Derek, being his co-host, because Derek needed a co-host, so Steiner's just there, man, and
Yeah.
that's why everybody loves Steiner too, because he's there for everybody too, man. He I don't know, man. He walks the talk, he talks the walk. I mean, he's a good dude, you know.
I got a big smile on my face because so Jason, this is how I know Jason. Jason, he was actually my daughter's softball coach at one point in time, and we kept bumping into each other at veteran events, and and this was like a couple of years later or whatever, and we kept like bumping into each other, like, why do we know each other? And then all of a sudden he was like, I coached your daughter in softball, and then it was like, and then we got to talking and BSing after that, and through the stuff he was doing with his, previous, veteran stuff, and me doing the Wheels for Warriors stuff and all the other stuff, doing our Hero Stock event last year, which, was just a, shop party.
Yeah.
And then, him calling me and saying, hey, I think I want to do this nonprofit thing. Do you want to come on board and, help me do this? And I'm like, I will honestly say that I was really reluctant because I've helped start a lot of 5 other veteran nonprofits, and I was really dragging my feet on it, but I had so much fun at the event, and I saw the energy that Jason had and like the vision he had for what he wanted to do, and every intention that I had of like coming on and helping, I was like, yeah, dude, I'll help you do this. That led to me now being the event coordinator for Hero Stock. So now I'm on the board and doing it full time. And now we're talking about joining forces, man. It's like, it's just one of those things. It's like two forces collided, and
Full circle, man.
we're we're gonna make big things happen. So yeah.
I definitely can see it, bro. You're I can feel your energy too. I mean, I could see the whole thing with you guys in Nebraska in general. Probably going to make a lot of waves throughout the country. I mean, I think you guys are going to make waves outside of Nebraska. You guys are just starting there in it's just the epic center or the epicenter, whatever they call it, and so you guys are going to leak out from there. I assure that. I know
I told
Steiner. I've told him. I said we gotta have the pre-party here in California. There's a couple of us over here that are big Steiner fans. That's why we say Jason 316 too. We gave him a name, man, because he's just through all the things. Everybody talks Jason, so we're like Jason 316, and he's just picked up his own name with us, man. Everybody loves some Steiner.
get bigger than what
Matt,
it already.
you gotta stop blowing his head up though. He's probably over here like watching, like, yeah, like,
Uh,
uh,
oh, that beard.
yeah. He just, oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I forgot his nice, pretty beard he's got going on. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to Hero Stock, and I know it's gonna be that event that everybody is gonna want to go to. It's gonna be like that one thing you're like, man, I can't wait till Hero Stock comes again. Like,
Yeah. I told him. I said. I said, if you build it, they will come. And
yeah,
we were looking at venues, and I was looking at places to book this. And I was looking at venues, and he's like, man, he's like, I don't think we're ready for that yet. I don't think we're ready for that yet. Well, I've done, tons of events over the years and stuff. And I was kind of thinking in my head, like, I want to see this get like big, I want to see this, grow into something that's going to be huge. And I was thinking on the big scale, and he was thinking on the conservative scale. And now,
he was all modest.
we have an amazing venue. And now I'm like, man, we're going to have to figure out like how to tell people like we can't let anybody else in the building. Like there is without a doubt we will be at capacity like very soon. Like that place is going to be packed out. It's going to be awesome.
No, I know. That's why he's already trying to line up the next venues and stuff like that. Cause I mean, dude, check it out. You guys are reaching other states. You guys got people as far as California, and I'm sure there's other states that are involved too, but I
I
can
think
only
we can.
speak of that. There's like a handful of us from California or more coming out that way. And that's pretty cool though. I mean, for you guys to reach out and for us to want to pay for a ticket, go get rooms and stuff like that. Although I told Steiner, bro, I was like, I'll be spooning with you, man, somewhere. um, but you guys got us all wanting to get there, so that's a cool thing in itself, bro. Is you guys are, I imagine last year when you guys did it was probably more Nebraska, your communities around those areas. Maybe you had some outer states, but now, man, you guys are really starting to touch way outside of Nebraska.
I think the current count is five or seven states have requested to have us host a Hero Stock event next year with Wheels for Warriors USA bike presentation.
Wow, that's awesome.
So yeah, we got one fun, exciting one that just kind of came on the radar. We have a local it's Harlan County Reservoir. It's a pretty large lake around here. One of the guys that basically owns one of the harbors says he wants to shut down the entire harbor for all vehicles and all boats and throw a beach party for Hero Stock and charge boats to come in, charge vehicles to come in, and have the Hero Stock be the harbor Hero Stock be like a fundraising event.
Bro, that would be, man.
So
that's what I'm saying. This thing is just evolving all the time. And
oh
that's
yeah,
why I told Steiner, I was like, I'm gonna have him on my show one more time. I was like, because I'm sure, bro, things, you're probably getting more towards that finalized thing, but I'm sure there's constant stuff that we can relate a month prior to Hero Stock.
we're definitely going to have another, probably a few years of like filling out both doing hero stock and, Wheels for Warriors at the same
Yeah.
time. Because we're being pulled in different directions, different venues, different events, different support group, entities and stuff like that. But once we can harness that and tie them together, that it's just going to be like a mega event. It's going to be the one that like everybody's going to be like, when is hero stock coming to our state?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. That's cool, man. I'm glad. So you're a busy guy, man. You're part of that nonprofit. You're part of this nonprofit. That's. I'm sure you're busy.
See his gray hair?
Well, wait till you get here, bro. You know,
Yeah,
divorce,
it's
kids,
fun.
all that stuff.
It would be a pretty amazing thing if we were doing this as a full-time gig in the next 3 to 4 years. Um, you know, that'd be amazing. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah,
Maybe our
man.
conversation about 4 years from now will be a lot different.
You never know, and it could be sooner, bro. I mean,
Yeah.
things happen, man. When you want it bad enough, that's another great thing about being in America. Land of opportunity. You really want something bad enough, you put your mind to it, you really work and never take no for an answer. Don't give up. Uh, Stay consistent, man. All that stuff pays off, man. And sometimes when you do things not looking for reward, comes great reward later.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's the beautiful thing about being a selfless person and deciding that you want to do a nonprofit, put your time, effort into something that's helping others. And I mean, that's a reward within itself. Is you're touching and helping someone and their family. It's probably touching more than just one individual when you
Mhm.
give a bike away. It's touching multiple, even and even like your crew. When you guys do a presentation, I gotta imagine, bro, that feeling that you guys get watching them get it is just it's kind of liberating for you guys too. Like, gosh, and you guys kind of know what went into each and every bike that you're giving away too. Like,
Yep.
gosh, damn, man, we really had a hard time getting the parts for this one or whatever, or uh, but
We
you guys know each and every little one of these projects.
we sincerely, for anybody out there listening, man, we sincerely want to tell what we're doing like a story, because where these bikes come from is one part of the story. Where these bikes go is the other part of the story. Um,
Yep.
you know, Almost every single one of these presentations, if you look around the room, I would say 80% of the people are crying. It's overwhelming when people receive these bikes, but it's also it's a big liberating gift. It's to acknowledge somebody's service and say, just thank you and nothing else. Just thank you and go be happy. That's a huge gift to give to somebody, and for me, that's been my sense of service. That was me finding my healing. That was me giving back. That was me doing all these things. Um, I'll share a little bit of that too. Is I had an evaluation done for PTSD one time, and I talked about all the things that I do with Wheels for Warriors and all this different stuff. And the guy that I was speaking to, he goes, "Well, that's awesome that you do all these things." He goes, "But you're doing all these things, helping all these people, but you're avoiding doing anything by helping yourself. You do all
Mhm.
this to avoid helping yourself." And I figured out that he was right. He was spot on. And you know, you see a lot of these veteran organizations out there, nonprofits out there popping up. The veterans, I guarantee, if you look at the veterans who are heading up these podcasts, the veterans who are heading up these organizations, these veterans who are putting in the work, the veterans who are showing up day after day, those are the veterans who experienced real trauma. Those are the veterans who really saw or had some profound thing happen in their life that they know that they have to do something more than themselves. And that's why you see all of these organizations popping up and all of these amazing groups like Ruck It Up for Ruck It Up for Warriors, Hero Stock, Wheels Forwards USA, you know, your podcast, everything, it's those reasons right there.
Yeah, dude, you hit it right on the spot, dude. I couldn't agree with you more, honestly. Um, and I think that each and everybody wants to go out and do their thing, so someone doesn't have to go through what they went through, or maybe doesn't have to experience as much, um, and you can help them get there in a healthier manner. Because a
Yep.
lot of us that got to where we were probably were super unhealthy getting there. And it took us many years to figure out that healthy way of getting there.
Yep.
But when you're young, bro, you're going to handle it probably the most unhealthy way imaginable because you're at that level, you're still badass. You know every fucking thing, you know, at that moment in time. And, especially you come out of the military, you get a little bit of chip on your shoulder, um, those type of things. But getting humbled and realizing a lot of things and having that's the thing, man. Hurt people stay super busy and they just keep their schedule going because they don't want to take that time to deal with what they got to deal with.
Yep.
But the longer that you do that, it just starts piling up on you. And then, here's your baseline. How fucking high do you want to build up before you have that, have to get back down to that baseline?
I did that for a lot of years. I was working full time, going to school full time. I was the uh, chapter commander of the combat vets. Like, I mean, all sorts of stuff, man. We're doing
Yeah.
home placement, like all sorts of stuff. And I
Yep.
look back, I'm like, I don't even know how I was functioning. I was literally living on 5 hours of sleep a night and just around the clock until I got to a very, very bad place.
Yeah. I mean, it ruined my first marriage the way I was too, is work, which my job was about a 10 and a half hour day. Then it was football, being a coach at the high school for football for about 2, 3 hours. Then after that, going and playing semi pro football and having like an hour to 2 hour of practice. By the time I get home, I don't have no more bandwidth for anybody else. I need to go back to sleep, get my ass up. So my bandwidth is for everybody else. That's the way I look at it, is that when I was younger, my bandwidth was put onto everything else and not focused on like my nucleus, my family around me. So I was giving everybody else me, and at home was failing. I wasn't giving them me,
Yep.
and because I wanted to stay busy. I wanted to do all this shit and not have to think about living life and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it did
Yep.
definitely prove damaging and a lot of repairing.
So what you see now is veterans who they've come home, they've either gone back to school, got that career, they were on that grind, starting a family, improving their home, living that life and doing all those things. And then they get to a point where all of a sudden their life stalls, where they're just now running through the motions. They're running through the motions of life, running through the motions of life. And then all of a sudden that becomes their idle period where they start reflecting and thinking about things. Or, for me, I said this to Ace. I said, you'll know when you're really messed up in the head when you start crying during golden buzzers of America's Got Talent for no reason. And he looked at me and he goes, I've done that before. And I was like, oh, just messed up as I am, man.
Right?
And, you'll get to a point where you're like, what is wrong with me? Like, why can't I control my emotions? Why can't I control my anger? Why do I cry at stupid stuff? Or why do I feel this way? Or why do I have the strong you know, just, hate for, people in general, or, whatever it may be, you need to stop, and you need to look at yourself, and you need to start leaning on the people who have stuck with you and been by your side, and you need to start finding that support, finding that avenue, finding, I'm not going to say go out there and talk about your feelings, because let's be honest, we don't, but you're going to have to find whatever it is that thing that you need to take control back and get your life back.
Yep, without creating more damage for yourself. Because
Yep.
sometimes we self-destruct, and when you start feeling like everything, you get that like, fuck it, man. Fuck everything. You know what? I don't fucking care about nothing at this point in time. And then when you get that old fuck it, because let me tell you, I got I'm still paying for that old fuck it attitude that I had.
Mhm.
I'm paying dearly for it. Trust me. It's not good to have that old fuck it manner, because when you really it's like, oh, this thing's starting to break. Well, I'll fucking break it all the way. Like, I'm gonna just go gung ho. No, I shouldn't have done that. I should have took the little breaks that were there, try to repair those, but not just say, oh, go shatter the whole thing, man. I mean, and that's what I did to myself. And here I
There,
am in my 40s paying that price for it.
I would say that there's actually one step past fuck it, and that is when you want everybody around you to feel the pain that you feel, and
Yeah,
then you
so you put everybody else in misery. Yeah.
you intentionally inflict that on people and make shit worse, and you become the root of the problem.
Yeah.
Well,
And yeah, bro. I think then I gotta own that part. Yeah, I got
that that
definitely
was
past that threshold. Yeah, I was there
that was
too.
yeah,
Yep, definitely. And they do say, man, hurt people.
yeah,
And that's a true saying. I mean, I've been there, and that's why it's better for you as an individual, as a person. When you got something, try to deal with it. Try to deal with it then. Don't put it off for so long. Because the more that you just keep putting in here, and you keep placing stuff, whenever something comes in there, it's got to fit in with all the other shit you didn't deal with.
yeah,
So if you keep this area clear, man, the stuff that comes in there, you can process it so much faster to get it out of there and keep that place clean. Because, bro, let's face it, living life is rough this day and age. The cost of living going up, pricing, the economic pressures that are put on us, the social pressures that are put on us. It's not an easy life to live. So the more that you just want to continue to not deal with things and keep putting it back there, it's gonna it's gonna boom. It's gonna do this eventually. And you're gonna be like, oh my gosh. And
yep,
the things that you did and regrets that you make are all too late.
yep.
And some of them are irreversible. So it's important for us to clear our minds. But I know we've been talking a long time, and we could probably keep on going. Is there anything else, bro, that you want to talk about that you maybe forgot about Wills for Warriors, or did we touch it all?
No, we our website's currently being worked on. It'll be up hopefully very very soon, but you can check that out. It's www.w the number 4wusa.org. We just got our online store up, so if you're across the country and want to check out, get some Wheels for Warriors gear, check us out on Facebook right now. You can get the link and get some Wheels for Warriors gear. Wheels for Warriors gear, support us. Other than that, just check us out, support us, spread the word. Word of mouth is how we find motorcycles. Word of mouth is how we find veterans. So if you know of a business who wants to, help us build a motorcycle, if you know of a business who wants to donate a motorcycle, or an individual who wants to donate a motorcycle, please reach out. We'll drive across the country and pick it up and make it brand new and give it a home to a very deserving veteran. So
Outstanding. Well, I appreciate you, man, taking the time to come on here, talk about everything that we talked about. It's not always easy talking about some of the things that we've talked about, but it's it's good, man. It's good for people to hear two men having a conversation about life, because you never know who can benefit from a conversation like ours today. Uh,
Absolutely.
man, who may need something like that. But man, really appreciate it. And I'm really looking forward to, bro, giving you the biggest bear hug ever, September 9th, man. So you
Looking,
better be ready.
yeah, a good time.
Hell yeah, dude. We're definitely gonna have some good time, Who's with me? Frank the Tank.
Run
uh
pod.
oh yeah. All right, brother. Well, man, I'd love to have you back on again at some future time. We'll kind of keep you running guest because there's always new things going up and going on with Wheels for Warriors.
Yeah,
Anytime you want to come on and share something, brother, man, there's always a seat, always an invitation for you. It's totally an open invite.
yeah,
Same
we'll
thing
get
with Wacky Wednesdays, man. You ever want to come on there, share? Ace came on. He, it's pretty cool having him on there. You ever want to come on as well? It's a cool time.
sounds good, man. Awesome. Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Jesse.
I look forward to being back on. Next time we'll get Craig on, our president,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
get him talking too. So,
Absolutely. I love it, man. All right, brother.
all right. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Bye.
All right, friends and fam, that wraps up another great episode. I tell you what, Jesse Cunningham and what their guys are doing over there for Wheels for Warriors USA, something awesome. Please go check them out on Facebook. Give them a like, give them a follow when they're, get their website up and running. Go check that out. Go get yourself some merch. And hey, I hope you guys are having an amazing day. Don't let it kick your ass. Make sure you're out there kicking ass. Yeah, it's ass. Until next time, though.